Professor Jeffrey Wingard of Bangor, Maine, I guess, has asks, after learning of the tragedy today, I couldn't bring myself to explain to my children ages 11 and 12 what had happened. How do you address with children hatred of this sort in the world?
Well, I think the best way to explain to them is what I said before, to tell them what a great place there is for them, the world and the world and the hereafter. I think that children should not look at this only as tragedy, but realizing that these people who went through this horrific experience, but they, neshama, is now resting in a very wonderful place, and they are receiving the reward appropriate for their life and for what they went through just now, and we shouldn't feel bad for them because they are in a wonderful place looking down on us and saying nebuch to us. We're the ones of the nebuch. They're not the nebuch.
The question is different. This question is, you have a nation, you have people who are, you have two guys who walked into a shul, murdered innocent civilians in a sacred place who were davening, and that act was celebrated by thousands of people. How do you explain to children this hatred? How do we explain to children the hatred? Yes, that there's such vicious hatred. How could how could somebody possibly raise a child healthily with knowing that there are people out there who are ready to kill any Jew everywhere? How does one explain that to an 11 or 12-year-old child? I think that's his question.
Asking how to say what happened, the tragedy of the
No. His question is, how do you explain the hatred? Hatred of this sort.
Well, I think every child knows the story of Purim, so it's not totally a news to them. An 11, 12-year-old child studied Purim for many years, over and over again, so he knows that there are those people out there, Amalek, who are out to get the Jews. They kill every man, Jewish man, woman, and child, and so it's nothing new to any child. So, except it comes to that was a theoretical thing that had a happy ending. This didn't have a happy ending, but we know that there is evil in the world, and God created people with evil, and the evil it could go even to such an extent of doing the worst horrific things to people. And the main thing is people without Torah guidance and Torah ideas, people are under the influence of the Yetzer Hara. They know about the Yetzer Hara, and the Yetzer Hara can drive a person to do the worst things if they don't have Torah to back them up and to guide them. And these people don't have Torah, and the Yetzer Hara rules over them, the evil. And this is just like Haman. He wanted to kill all the Jews. They wanted to kill all the Jews. He knows, he says every time in the Seder, every 11, 12-year-old child says, Haggadah every year, every generation, the wicked people stand up to destroy us. So it's not new to a child. They know that such a thing exists. So we have to tell them that this is what God put into the world, and without Torah, it's... Once a Holocaust survivor who went through Auschwitz, unbelievable things he says over there. Every time I meet him, I get depressed. It tells me something of another terrible thing happening. But they were taking him away, separating the family, and they took the father away, who happened to be a very big rabbi scholar. And as he was leaving, he said to his son, take this book, took a Gemara, holy book, and said, study it. Because if you don't study it, you'll be like they are. That's what you'll be. If you don't study it, if not into Torah, not learning Torah, you don't get the ideas. So the Yetzer Hara, evil of the world, encompasses a person and brings us down to do the worst things, because we have such evil in the world and evil within ourselves that we could be evil. And we have to have the right kind of direction, the right kind of influence. And that's the Torah. That's what gives light to the world. Without the Torah, people were cannibals. People were time of the flood, time of the that happened of different periods of the world, that people were animals, they're vicious animals. Without Torah, so he told them, take this and study it, you'll be like they are if you don't study it. So this is what the world's all about. If there's not the good and Torah in the world guiding us, then people turn into animals.